Hey everyone, it's time for Wild Card Weekend. Do or die football. Playoff football's here, baby. So we will be breaking down each matchup. This episode, we're going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bills 12-5, Jacksonville Jaguars 13-4, playing in Jacksonville as they are the higher seed. Now, it's going to be a very interesting matchup between Jacksonville's Trevor Lawrence, who's on a hot streak, and Josh Allen, who is the former MVP and unicorn in the league. So we'll go ahead and talk what's happening, break them down, and see who will win in a game that I think is going to come down to the wire most likely. So just to recap the season itself, the Buffalo Bills ended up with a record of 12-5. They captured the 6th seed in the AFC. Jacksonville Jaguars themselves have a 13-4 record. They have secured the AFC South and are the 3 seed. So they'll be hosting. They got the home and field advantage in this one. Buffalo Bills are a so-so road team. They are dominant at home. So unfortunately, since they're not at home, that adds an extra layer of difficulty for them. Jacksonville Jaguars are on a burn. They have won I believe it was 8 in a row to date, and are looking dominant. Probably the most complete team in the playoff field, or on the AFC side at least. With the top 5 offense and a top 5 defense, they are fearsome. They're going to be very interesting. On the other side, you have Josh Allen, one of the best players in the league right now. Obviously, 2-prong attack coming from him with his legs and his arm. It's just hoping the rest of the team can work with him and he stays mistake-free. And this matchup could end up being very, very exciting. Now, to start off, we're going to be talking about the quarterbacks. That's going to be the major draw when it comes to these kind of games. Like I mentioned, you have Josh Allen on one side, Trevor Lawrence on another. Now, Allen, obviously, he's been touted. Everyone knows who he is. He is just one of the best out there right now, if not the best. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens around him in terms of run production from James Cook, who is the leading rusher of the league this year, and if the defense can hold up on this game, because they will be facing Trevor Lawrence, who, like I mentioned, is on an absolute tear right now. He is leading his team through that 8-game winning streak through the air and on the ground. I believe he has the next highest rushing total or touchdowns for a QB to, as previously mentioned, Josh Allen. So it's interesting if he's going to be able to keep that duality throughout the matchup, because that will strain the Bills' defense and cause a lot of problems if he does decide to keep it on the ground sometimes. Lawrence is coming from what looks like might be his breakout season, depending on what happens in this playoff. But at least for the regular season, to me, by far his best out of all his years so far. Because the other ones, mediocre at times, but then also relatively decent. This, by far, the best one to me. So we'll see if he can keep that going into the playoffs, where the pressure is significantly higher. Now, when talking about the offenses in whole, the Bills' offense themselves seem to be a, live or die by Josh Allen for sure. But they've started to predicate themselves more about the rushing. And that's indicative by James Cook's rushing title, as he has been phenomenal the entire year long, breaking off massive runs and being very consistent in the majority of the season itself. Now, the problem with them is that their receivers, it's not a strong pool. They have not done well, whether it's either Josh Allen not trusting them not being in the right place, them not getting separation. It's just haven't been clicking as good as it should, especially when you have a dynamic and difficult to defend quarterback like Josh Allen. So hopefully they can get it together for the playoffs so they can show a more clean and humming machine on offense, but that's to be seen. On the other side, while the Bills are on offense, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Again, like I mentioned, a top 5 unit. They've done phenomenal on turning over the ball. They have a great pass rush. Their DBs are decent, so that might be where they have their weakest position itself. So maybe if the Bills can get something clicking with the receivers or tight ends, they might have some success on that end. However, the Jags have a great rush defense. And again, Bills have the top rushing offense. So unstoppable force versus immovable object. That's what we're going to have both ways, really. You got the Bills offense, passing offense, versus the Jags passing defense. That could be a wash, one versus the other, where you got the Bills rushing offense, which is phenomenal, versus the Jags rushing defense, which is also phenomenal. So to see what caves or which one folds, it's going to make this game very exciting. Now, the Jags offense, they have been clicking insanely recently. All their weapons have been jiving, especially once they added Jacoby Myers. You have Myers, you have Brian Thomas Jr., as well as Parker Washington, who I've liked for many years, but he seems to be breaking out now and doing a lot of good things for the Jags. And Trevor definitely seems like he likes throwing to him directly. So they like to spread the ball around pretty decently. The rushing is okay. Etienne's been all right. It hasn't been anything jaw-dropping or spectacular, but he's been reasonable, serviceable for the most part. So that's probably the weakest point when it comes to the offense. Everything else, again, those receivers and Trevor Lawrence in great condition right now, so they might be a big threat throughout the entire playoffs if they do move on after the Bills. But again, it's a situation where you're strong versus strong, because the Bills have a very good pass defense. Their pass defense, probably I believe is one of the top 5 in the league itself. So that's going to be interesting to see if Lawrence can figure out some way to get through them and get down the field to his receivers. Their running backs, okay, like I said, they're going to be in a more fortuitous situation. The Bills defense, especially against the run, is poor. They do end up tightening it up quite often. However, they have a problem giving up 1 or 2 explosive runs. And those typically make the game closer than they have to be and tend to suck a lot of air out of the balloon for them. Major factors in this game to me, at least for game script, if the Bills get a fast lead, that's problematic. I know Jags are fast. They can get points real quick. But if the Bills get a head start and get multiple touchdowns on them and get to the point where they can establish James Cook running the ball, it could be a situation where the Jags have a hard time getting enough time to mount a comeback itself. Now, conversely, if the Bills can't figure out a way where they can keep Trevor Lawrence from breaking the game using his legs and or finding all of his weapons wide open or available, then they might get torn up. But it really just depends on who can figure out the other faster. So it's going to be very interesting. The Bills, 14, they're very good in the red zone. They managed to get into the end zone if they get into the red zone. So as long as they can manage, or the Jags can manage to keep them out of the red zone area, they have a good chance to keep the scoring lower. Now, turnovers is obviously in any game a major factor to it. So we'll see if the Bills can keep it clean, and if the Jags can maintain that ball. Whoever wins the turnover battle has a massive leg up in this game. This is not a situation where I think you can come back that easily. Once someone takes a massive lead, it feels like this will be a game that's wrapped up for that team that gets a massive lead. So that's why I feel like it'll probably be a much more closer game in terms of the scoring. They'll probably go back and forth at some point in time, or probably not even score much at all, depending on how these defenses show up. And like I mentioned, it's mainly about really the Bills' rushing offense. If the Bills get a rushing offense going and meet against this rushing defense, then it should be the Bills' game, period. Because they can dictate things, because they've got a good quarterback themselves. Now, conversely, if the Jags manage to shut down that run and make the Bills one-dimensional and have to rely on those weapons on the outside to get open, things will get difficult for the Bills. Jags will likely be able to get some kind of points and be able to keep them down. So it's going to be very, very critical for someone to stop the run or get the run going. The last real deciding factor when it comes to this game is going to be experience. Now, there's a big, giant gulf of experience difference between these two teams. Bills, been there, done that, got at least to the AFC Championships multiple times, have experience in playoffs multiple times. Jags, different story. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, has at least 2 playoff appearances. I believe he's 1-3, if I remember right. I can't recall. But he has been in playoffs significantly less than Josh Allen. And even worse, his head coach is a freshman head coach. This is his first year. They've over-accomplished when it came to the regular season. Now the question is, once the pressure is ramped up to playoff level, will he be able to handle it? Will he make the right decisions? Will he call his timeouts at the right time? Will he know when to go for it? That's what's going to be interesting. So if we can figure out if he's up to that pressure, and if the Bills can manage to use their experience to their benefit, another big factor in this game. Now, personally, like I said, I think this game is going to be pretty tight itself. I think they're going to stay pretty close and low scoring in the first half. If any scoring significantly happens, I want to say it's going to be more towards the back end, probably late third quarter, more fourth quarter itself, once teams, especially defenses, get tired or more exhausted. So expect it being close at the beginning, slower, maybe a touchdown here and there, back and forth, and then halftime about like a 13-14 type game. And then by the end, more happens. It gets more open. Both the teams are starting to score more. But I think it's going to be closer than most probably would say. I think personally that they will end up in a situation where the game will be decided if the Bills can get their rushing game going. If they do, they're going to win this game. I want to say so. Jacksonville needs to be able to make sure they stop James Cook. If they can stop James Cook, that makes Josh have to play superhero. And if he has to play superhero, there's a chance that they might turn over the ball. A chance. Now, I believe it's going to be, like I said, a tight game. My prediction, I'll say it's going to be 28-24 and go with the Bills. I want to say they're going to be just more, since they're more experienced, they'll be able to handle the situation better. They have a better quarterback, in my opinion, even though Trevor Lawrence is probably playing at Josh Allen level just due to the fact of how he's been these last few games. But we'll see. I expect an exciting game regardless. So you let me know what you think. Tell me your predictions in the comments below. What you think is going to be like the major factor in this game. I want to hear. You let me know and we'll chat it up. Until then, thank you. I'll follow back up after the game with a post review. Until then, you have a good one. Be blessed.